What's up everybody, Jay here and welcome back to the Planet Tank. And holy cow, this channel is growing like crazy. So thank you for all the continued support, all the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. And anyways, today I'm gonna show you guys how I do a water change on my 29 gallon. It's the same process for all my tanks. I've been getting a lot of questions on how I do maintenance and water changes and all that good stuff. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So let's go do this water change. Okay, so first things first, the first thing that I do is I always unplug my heater and my filter. I usually leave the light on. I know a lot of people turn their lights off to ease the stress on their fish, but I like to see what I'm doing in there. So then I take my lid off and dry it out really well. I do this every time I do a water change because I don't want mold to build up on my lid. So that's not good for your fish at all. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do now. I know a lot of people find it interesting to see how other people do water changes because a lot of people do them a lot of different ways. You might not agree with the way that I'm doing it, but it's always worked for me. I've been doing it the same way since I got in the hobby 3 years ago. So yeah. Next is usually I use a all-natural bamboo toothbrush to scrub down the rocks if they have any algae building up on them at all. And I get down in here by the substrate and clean that up as well. And then I use a good old Scotch pad sponge with the green rough side on it. I usually use the green side to get off tough stuff, and then the yellow side for just like dust algae or diatoms or anything like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean down the glass. So after I get the glass all cleaned up, I usually take a good look at the plants and see if there's any leaves that are dying that should be removed, like some of this stuff floating up here. Take that out, put that in the bucket. I do use buckets still. I don't use a Python for the simple fact that none of the fittings for it actually fit my sink. I bought one and didn't end up fitting. So I live in an apartment as well, so I'm not gonna go replacing sinks and stuff. So it's not too big of a deal. This is my biggest tank. So yeah, if you're wondering, that's why I have a bunch of small tanks. And also I don't really have room for a bigger tank than this. All right, everything's looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna do the actual water change. For this tank, I only do a 5 gallon water change since it's fully balanced. I usually do 50% every week until the tank is fully balanced. Once it gets balanced, then I usually just do like 25 to 50% depending on how bad I think the tank needs it. But this tank is looking pretty clean, so I'm just gonna do a little 25% water change today. Just gonna suck up as much detritus as I can because it does nothing but to feed algae. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm not gonna be doing any kind of gravel vacuuming or anything like that. Any kind of food or fish waste that makes its way to the bottom, I just let Mother Nature take care of that. The bacteria that lives down there in the substrate will break that down and turn it into fertilizer for my plants. But if I see anything floating up, any kind of dusty, nasty looking stuff, I try to suck that up if I can. If you want to, if you have a lot of detritus down at the bottom in your substrate, you can just wave your hand lightly like this. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot down here coming up, so I'm not even gonna mess with it. I've actually had one of these pencil fish deliberately try to swim up the tube, and unfortunately he did swim straight up the tube, and he lived, he's still in there, but I think he learned his lesson because now he doesn't do it anymore. So this is about all the water I'm gonna drain for today. If the tank had an algae issue or was still balancing or in the cycling process, I would remove a lot more. I'd probably take it down to about 2/3, but the tank looks really clean and algae free, so there's really no need to offset the balance of the tank that much by doing that much of a water change. A lot of people say it ruins the biological bacteria when you do super huge water changes. I disagree, as long as the water is dechlorinated before it makes its way into the tank. Now, usually what I do is I take my little bucket that I fill the tank back up with, and then I pour my dechlorinator in that, and then go fill it up with water and then fill the tank that way. I don't put dechlorinator in every single bucket, but just the first one, and then when you pour it in the tank, it spreads out evenly and gets a good mixture. So that's what works for me. So I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna disagree with that. Everybody does water changes their own way. There's most of it's really personal preference, in my opinion, as long as you don't do a water change and then all your fish are dead, because obviously if that happens, you didn't do it right. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this tank back up now using the hashtag George Farmer red colander. I really love this thing. It works so well. You just lay it over the top of the tank just like that, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and fill it up. All right, so there you have it. That is pretty much how I do my water changes on all of my tanks. It's the same process for all of them, and hopefully you guys learned something or thought that this was entertaining. But anyways, if you guys are new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, that way you never miss an upload. And if you like this video, hit the like button, and as always, keep it planted.